he's still kicking.
Van Dyke.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
I was gonna say, I thought.
Full house tonight.
We can start without you. Hey, Jan.
I don't know if you've ever.
Hey, Jan.
How's it going?
Good. Yeah.
And I was trying to
Recording in progress.
When you get me in those big office buildings, I'm out of there quick.
and this was
That is a beautiful building.
It is. It's a great building.
it's a lot better than the one that we used to work at.
Isn't that?
Oh, really?
You mean the downtown gym?
Yeah.
The old building?
Yeah, the old building. We were on the third floor there.
How is it?
In the draw. They had some really nice artwork.
I was in a meeting with the county commissioners, and so I don't stay long for
No,
those.
I don't blame you. Jim Harvey could talk forever. Okay.
Sharon's not much different.
Well, when you get going,
Oh, man.
he's super nice. Physical therapist guy.
What time we got?
45 or 15 seconds left.
That's a lot. Are we making him read them?
That's the most.
We're there. All righty. Well, let's go ahead and get started tonight. I'd like to welcome everybody that's here. Looks like we have some youth group or something. Where are you guys from? All right. This is your
Where's that?
assignment to come watch us?
No, you get to.
It's not that bad.
Well, welcome. We appreciate you coming. Welcome all those who are joining us online via Zoom as well. We'll go ahead and get started here. I'm Mayor Phil Meyer. I'm going to actually have everybody introduce themselves because I might get a mental block and forget somebody's name. So just your name and what you do for the city.
I'm Adam Favero, the council, over several different things, Public Works and the dump and building.
I'm Councilmember Rachel Beal. I'm in charge of the America 250 Utah for this year, as well as emergency management.
Councilman Jed Jenkins, I'm Mayor Pro Tem. I'm assigned to the Planning Commission, Mosquito Abatement, the Fire Department, and WACOG. And I'm probably forgetting one, but
Yes.
That's all right, I did.
I did too.
I am Jan Wilson, and I am over events like the 4th of July, parades, all sorts of stuff with Colette Doxey.
Luigi Panunzio, Public Safety, Animal Services, and Plain City Irrigation.
Go ahead, Stacy. We want to know who you are. Okay.
Lieutenant Mark Gordon, Sheriff's Office, Precinct Commander for Plain City.
And he's going to keep order tonight, so. All right, and Brandon Quinney's our attorney. He's out right now. He'll be back shortly, so. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I will lead the Pledge of Allegiance tonight if you'd stand and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance with me. And then we will have a thought or a moment of silence or whatever from Jan. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, my sticky note with my thought is gone, and I'm sure no one wants to know my GM Finance account number. So let's just have a moment of silence to reflect on something that is important to you. Thank you. I was actually going to make you wait there 5 minutes to see who would get stir first, but I thought, no one wants to stay here longer than we have to.
All right. Okay, so first course of business is the approval of minutes. If you had a chance to look those over, any comments?
They were really long,
Yeah,
you know.
long meeting.
If you didn't notice, they were, I know, see? I'll motion to approve the minutes from the January 15th meeting.
Second.
We have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Appears that they pass. All right. Next would be our public comments. So this is a time for any of you to come up. We'd like you to come up to the pulpit, state your name, address, and tell us what you'd like to tell us. This is our opportunity to listen to you, your opportunity to speak. According to our ordinances, we give you 3 minutes, okay? That's longer than you think, but 3 minutes. I will actually have a timer here, so I will tell you when your 3 minutes is up, and I'd ask you to wrap it up. Keep your comments as respectful as possible. I think that's good for all of us. So we'll go ahead and open it to public comments.
Hello, my name is Sean Fowers, 2830 North, 3475 West. It's a new year, new mayor. Don't recognize a couple of the council, but I just wanted to review. I've been here before about the speeding on our road. And last time was mentioned that there's going to get law enforcement out there. Very, very rare. It's happened a few times, not much at all. When they're there, I mean, it happens right in front of my house. So they're pulling people over left and right. I mean, they could get some serious cash if they just stayed there. But the problem is it's just not enough, so people don't care. That's not helping. I'm just wondering if maybe hopefully there's a more permanent solution, like speed bumps or stop signs or something like that. That's all I got.
Thank you.
3475.
We have anyone else? Okay. All right, we will move on out of public comments. Just addressing that road, I think we do need to look at that. I know you've been out there and taken, it's just a long stretch. Is there any way we can put like a stop sign in there? What's the?
Far Westman, something like this, and it's actually against the law to put stop signs.
Is it? Okay.
Would you be able to come to the mic so everyone can hear you, or have the handheld?
Yeah, Far West went through something similar like this. It's actually against the law to put stop signs in to enforce speeding, for intersections and stuff like that, but.
Sorry, I wanted to break the law there.
Yeah, and it gets complicated. We have a very robust traffic unit. It's 4 people, and when they get their sights on something, they'll typically, they like to travel together. So they'll go hit Plain City for a day or Far West for a day. Actually, I think since its inception, they've been 4 years now, they've almost reduced traffic accidents in the areas we serve by 45%. And so not everything we do is about speeding. And that's the most common complaint we get is speeding. And I hate to tell you this, you complain about speeders in your neighborhood, but you're probably speeding in somebody else's neighborhood. And so we do the best we can. They're very strict on it. It's no warnings if you've earned the ticket. A friend was texting me as I walked in that his friend got a ticket from our traffic unit for 20 over, and the amount was for 20 over. And so that they're very strict, and they're very passionate about what they do. And so we will address it as best we can, but it's a big county to cover. They do an amazing job. They're awesome at it. But yeah, we'll definitely give it some attention.
So stop signs can't be used, but what about speed bumps?
Your Public Works Department's gonna hate them.
Last time this came up, we had discussions with Dan, and we talked about the snowplow issues and some of the other issues. And I'm sorry, is it Sergeant?
It's Mark.
Yeah, Lieutenant, I'm sorry, Lieutenant
Yeah.
Mark Horton, yes. Last time this came up, the sheriff department sent out their, traffic
You know-
group, the speeding group, and I mean, I drove around town and there were, officers everywhere. It was great for a few days.
We hate the speed bumps. We actually responded to an accident in Pleasant View a while ago in a trailer park. Kid got hit by a car, drugged by the car, and then drug over a speed bump. And so there's
Made it
thing,
worse.
yeah, which made it worse. And so there's thing to consider. Your Public Works hates them, the snow plows and that type of stuff. I think there's probably other ways to address it.
I would also argue that the residents that ask for them a lot of times hate them once they're put in too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because they don't like driving over them once they get them in. So you got to keep that in mind as well.
yeah.
You have to bounce over
We'll say
'em.
this, I was in Portland, last Thanksgiving. They had these, they were just a little roll or something like it.
Yeah.
And it was
Big
flat on.
speed bump. Yeah.
Yeah, been
And
there.
Yeah.
and it really wasn't that distracted to the driver, but
It
make
got
you
your,
slow up.
it
Yeah.
get your attention.
I didn't know if that would be a problem with,
We do have some speed trailers that we can bring out. They work great while they're there. We're actually in contact with a company that approached us for live data. You know how when you guys are driving down this freeway and you get an alert on your phone that there's an accident ahead? They're evolving that technology to give us live data on speeders in areas.
Yeah.
Address things like that, so it's instant and live. And so we're looking at it, see what happens with that. Anything else?
thank you,
Okay.
appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
We'll continue to address this, okay? All right, let's see, we have a report from our planning commission now.
Rob,
Rob, come on up.
Hello. All right, we met, it was 2 weeks ago. So we had a fifth Thursday last week. Let's see. First item was we had a public hearing for a rezone, and then a motion later for that same rezone for the 3000 North Plain City Road, the development going in there. And that was to change part of his parcel to RE15 so that he could adjust the sizes of those lots so they could move the houses away from the power lines. And I think that's what he had been suggested to him, so he made the application. The board decided they had changed their mind on that and wanted to do it as a variance and not rezone. And so they voted to recommend denial on that. And I think that's before you today. So that's how that went. So we're still gonna work with them to be able to move those houses, but the board felt like there's a better way to do that than to do a rezone because it wasn't in alliance with our future land use map. Then we had a presentation from Western Weber County Open Space Project from, it was a couple kids from University of Utah, and they gave us some ideas about like how to handle our open space and stuff like that. It was interesting. And then we had a discussion, short discussion on the new planning chair and co-chair, but that'll be official next week. We'll have our final discussion and make a decision on that. And that's all I have for you. You guys have anything to take back?
No?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay. So the next business here is review of commercial business license renewal of Brazilian Paradise, 1772 North, 2250 West. You've been provided in your paperwork, I'm sure you saw this, a rather large stack of papers. Hopefully you've had a chance to read all through that. And Stacy Adams, thank you for putting that all together. I've asked Brandon to kind of take the lead on this, but do we want to hear from them first, or what do you suggest?
I think, Mayor, that the best approach would be to just allow the representatives of Brazilian Paradise to explain why it should not be denied. But I am assuming, and I think you can make that assumption if you'd like, that the council has reviewed the material. If not, I'm available for any questions. I think Stacy can also answer any questions about what has been included in that packet. I think the main thing that the council can refer to as kind of the general bases for the intent to deny is the memo that's dated January 14th, 2026, written by our business license clerk. And so that's a starting point, and then we can obviously move from there to the more detailed evidence that has been provided with the packet. But at this point, I would recommend we allow the business owner or the representative to address the council.
Okay. Would you like to give us your names? And
Certainly. Good evening, Mr. Mayor. My name is Charles Ahlstrom. I'm an attorney. I'm here on behalf of Brazilian Paradise. This is Jake Daniels, who's one of the owners of Brazilian Paradise. I've also prepared some information. I brought 8 copies with me that I can provide to you as well that will hopefully answer some of the questions that were raised in this January 14th memo. So I don't know how you want me to get those to you.
I guess you could just,
You can just hand them to.
Yeah, we can just take it.
or do you have them right now?
Yeah, I have them right here with me.
By chance have 9 copies? I just want to make sure everyone has one. Okay. So 3 of you have 1 copy between all of you. Gotcha. Thank you.
So I guess our first point and our first concern is that Brazilian Paradise was granted a license back in 2023, January 5th of 2023. It was granted a commercial license for the purpose of conducting this food truck business, which would be consistent with the way that many, if not all, food truck businesses are licensed, at least here in the state of Utah. The food trucks, Jake and his wife Thais and their employees travel to various events. They store their trailers there at their own property. And so this, actually this, the license revocation letter that came on December 5th was something of a surprise, because it seemed like there was not any real clear basis for that. Nothing had significantly or substantially changed with Jake and the business that he had been running. We've provided copies of the, there was a concern raised about the commissary and the licensing through the health department. They're licensed through the Bear River Health Department. There's a copy of their commissary agreement, both with the commissary and with the Bear River Health Department. It's quite an interesting circumstance just to see that the original letter that Jake got on December 5th outlined some issues with allegations of parking violations and not a brick and mortar commercial location. And then after we complained because of the revocation of his license without any formal process, without the due process that is necessary in order to revoke someone's license, then we got a much more, well, we got a different list, much more substantial, again with things that were all gathered and compiled after the fact, and that, as we've provided now to the council, are simply not grounds for denial of the license. And so I guess we're left wondering, even the outline or the history of the case talks about a couple of code violation warnings, and that's the extent of the issues that then are used to justify the revocation of this license. We think it's improper. We think it's inappropriate that he's not violating the codes or the statutes or the ordinances here in Plain City, and he's just continuing to be a good business owner and a good citizen and resident of this city, and he'd like to be able to continue to do that, but this is his livelihood, and now the city is saying they want to take it away for reasons that really are not very clearly explained at all, and don't withstand the scrutiny under the statute of, right, either a failure on Jake's part to comply with conditions or requirements of the code or any ordinance of the city, or unlawful activities conducted or permitted on the premises. So to be told of this stuff in December or in January, essentially for the first time, and to be told that his license is going to be denied is simply not providing due process, giving him no opportunity even to address these alleged violations, which some of which took place several years ago. And so we just asked the city council to permit this license application to go through and to permit Jake and his family to continue to do what they've been doing now for years. Do you have questions for
Yes.
us? Okay.
Why do you have a health department from not the county in which you reside?
So under Utah statute, they're required to register through a health department, and they talk about the health department where they do a significant number or a majority of their events. So as you could see, they do events all over the state.
Yes.
They do a lot of them in Cache County, which is covered by the Bear River Health.
You also do a lot here in Weber County, so.
Right, and we do in Heber and in Utah County and.
Okay.
And also on that, there are different permits that we sell at farmers markets. So for example, like the Ogden Farmers Market, we don't use our food truck permit for that. That's under a temporary event permit.
Right.
So that would be completely separate from the food truck permit, from anything with that. It would be, and that's done through the Weber Morgan Health Department as well.
So they get temporary event
Oh, I
permit.
understand that. I
Through that.
just still don't understand why you reside in Plain City, why you not have a health department from Weaver County. I just don't understand that. And I get that you have to have a temporary business license at every event that you go to.
Can I answer?
Anyone that has anything to do with taxes, you'll have to have a temporary business license.
It's a temporary event permit through the health department, and where we conduct the majority of our business is through the Bear River Health jurisdiction. And that's for the food trucks. Again, we do special events that require temporary event permits, and we do that through various health departments throughout the state.
So how do you address the neighborhood complaints? I mean, there's pictures here showing trucks along the street, with violations. I mean, to me, that's not being a very good neighbor. I'm all for business, and I want to congratulate you from going from one truck to two truck. When do you make the decision of, hey, it's time to be a big business now and go get me a place to put my trucks and have everything set up? You know, it seems to me it's kind of outskirting the regulations of what we had in mind for home occupied business.
Well, except he's not licensed as a home occupied business, he's licensed under the commercial license. But that's the license that he has, and that's the license he's operating under. So if the city is saying that the parking is trucks out on the street is a violation of the home business license regulations, well, we're applying a complete different set of rules to the license that Jake has and the license that he operates under.
General business licensing requirements, we're talking Title III, Chapter 1, Section 13. That's where the basis for a revocation or denial of a license is codified. That does not just apply to home occupation licenses, it applies to all business licensing. That's where the requirement to comply with the conditions and requirements of this code or any ordinance of the city is housed. And so it's not so much that the parking would be based on just the home occupation licenses, it's all businesses within the city.
But parking a trailer on the street, from whatever citations or violation notes that were included in that packet, I couldn't see any designation under that parking code that would say parking the trailer on the street is a violation of the parking code.
6-1-3C4, it shall be unlawful for the owner of a motor vehicle, trailer, or boat to park the vehicle for sale. That one's for sale. On a public street or highway for more than 72 hours. And again, this might be something where we refer to Dan as far as parking regulations goes, because he's our code enforcement officer, whereas I'm just looking into it. That's the one I see that was marked in one of these violations. Dan, would you be able to speak at all to parking regulations for just general residential zones? Sidewalks, street parking, like that.
As you know, code enforcement is pretty much complaint-based, and when we get a call from a resident, then we'll respond to it. We've gotten everything from the health department, from washing coolers out in the gutter and staining the curb and gutter white. Health department said, you don't know what it is. At that point, I said, well, me neither, but I told him, I said, I'll go ahead and issue him a notice of violation with the parking ordinance. There's times that he's blocked the sidewalk. I had one of my workers go over there and knock on the door and ask him to move it because the school kids were getting out, and where he was parked, it was making the school kids walk out into the road. And so my employee went up to the door, knocked on the door, asked him to move it. Oh yeah, sure, I'll move it. Next thing you know, he gets in his truck and then just waves at my employee. At that point, I just told him, I said, call Weaver County. Don't mess around with it. So it doesn't seem like that he's trying to comply. I don't know. I mean, when you're blocking a public street, you know, blatantly not caring about school kids and making them walk out on the road. I don't know. I don't know. So, like I said, numerous complaints from the neighbors. I mean, that's, like I said, and we constantly get them here, and then we respond to it. And then, last time I told them, I said, well, we turned it over to the city attorney and let him, see what we're gonna do with it. And then Trent says, well, his business license is coming up, and we'll look at it then. So, okay. So,
Okay, so I'm just looking at the code, and thank you, Dan. I think just, my question was just, you know, what did you observe there? I'm looking at the code, because I think that that's what we're looking for as far as the basis of denial. Under the parking regulations, 6-1-3, I do see here under subsection 5, D5, some parking restrictions. I see somewhere it's clearly, if it's clearly marked no parking, I'm just, I may have to look further onto where it says on a residential that trailers cannot be blocking the sidewalk. So if you know where that can be found in the code, that might be helpful for the city council.
yes, we is instructed to respond to it for a notice violation because it is in a residential zone and they're conducting, running a business. And when you got employees coming in and parking out in the street, and then he's got his trucks with his commercial trailers out in the street blocking in front of people's houses, blocking their driveway views from getting out of their driveways, that's where the parking issue, you know, comes from. So with commercial trailers, and yeah, so in a residential zone. And it's supposed to be home occupation conducted inside the home, and congratulations on the point of growing and getting more trucks and expanding out and more employees to where you're not the only one you got to have employees at that point. Then maybe you need to start looking to go elsewhere other than just inside your home. You don't have the parking. So adequate parking off-street. So.
And unfortunately, Your Honor, or sorry,
Your Honor.
I'll call you Your Honorable Mayor. How's that? But that's the impression and the feel that Jake has gotten through this entire process. He gets a letter at the beginning of December, says, hey, you're done. We say, hey, wait a minute, there's a process that you're supposed to follow. And then all of a sudden, there's all this additional, hey, we've got all these additional problems that we're gonna throw at you. But it feels like the city's saying, we don't want you here. But you still have to follow the statutes, you still have to follow the rules. And the parking citations that they're talking about, there is nothing in the parking ordinance that says he can't do that. The picture, and I know there's pictures in your packet, one of the pictures that they take with his trailers on the road in front of his own house, not blocking anybody else's driveway, not interfering with anyone else. Right in front of it, the house next door to him, they have 2 big trailers that had heavy equipment on it that same day. I would be interested to know if they got cited. I don't think so.
Yeah, they did.
And what's the citation process? There's no follow-up, there's no way to counter or to say, hey, wait a minute, this isn't the way that it happened, or this isn't right. But to simply say, because you're parking on the street, because we got a complaint about that, that constitutes a violation. That's not what the code provides. And that's not the standard that the city should be using to say, hey, we're gonna pull your business license, the license that we gave you. Now we're gonna say, you can't park on the street anymore, even though there's not an ordinance that says you can.
It sounds like we're still looking into that, but I do have a question per your comment. You say you didn't have any time to redeem the parking violation. Well, going clear back to 9/21/23, from what I'm seeing is the first parking violation or notice or whatever you guys, what did you do to mediate that back in 2023?
And I guess I would return that with a question was, what is the violation?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. You said you had no time. Well, it's been 3 years. Did you get one and did you do anything about it, or did you ignore it? I I don't know all the details.
The hard part is when you say that there's a code violation, it's this copy of the parking statute. And when you look that and you read through it and you say, there's nothing on here that I'm violating. He's not parked in front of a sign that says you can't park here. He's not parked,
I think obstructing a sidewalk is in the code. I can't say that for a fact until we find it, but I'm sure it is, and there's 2 or 3 of these.
right, and that particular incident, I believe, was in October of '25, right? So just in October, he was parked there. In fact, they called the sheriffs, and the sheriffs called and talked to him, and he said, yep, I had to leave, I'm coming home, I'll move it, and the sheriff said, fine, and it was resolved.
What about the spiel? What was the story with that?
Again,
I have 2 provisions to provide. One is the discharge of water, 7-1-5, which regards discharge of pollutants. This is subsection B. No person shall discharge or cause to be discharged into the city storm drain system or water course any materials, including but not limited to pollutants or water containing any pollutants that cause or contribute to a violation or applicable water quality standards other than stormwater. And I believe in the packet there is a citation or at least a case from the Weber Morgan Health Department that designates that draining as a pollutant. Gray water, I think, is what it's referred to from that trailer. That very next section actually talks about sidewalk regulations, 7-1-6. Subsection A is driving or parking. It shall be unlawful for any person to drive or park a self-propelled vehicle or lead, drive, or ride any animal, that doesn't apply, upon any sidewalk except across a sidewalk at established crossings. So obviously we're not talking about the animal there, so we kind of cut that out, and it comes down to, it shall be unlawful for any person to drive or park a self-propelled vehicle upon any sidewalk. And then there's except across a sidewalk at established crossings, but the self-propelled vehicle, that may include golf cart crossings, or I imagine something along that similar vein. So those are the 2 relevant provisions I've found so far.
The state statute for parking is 41-6A 1402, if you want to read that.
I can pull that one up as well.
So, I mean, sounds like they took care of that, yes or no? The parking on the sidewalk.
Not at the time, no.
Say that again?
Not at the time, they did not. Like I said, I told my employee to wait for them to move the truck because school was letting out and school kids was walking down the sidewalk. And he made contact with the resident and asked him to please move his truck off the sidewalk. Okay, yeah, sure, I'll move it. And then he jumps in his personal truck and takes off and waves at my employee as he's driving down the road. So
I had the impression.
and
that
that's
he
when
ju-
we called Weber County.
41-6A-1401, subsection 1A, and then it goes into 1AI, except when necessary to avoid conflict with other traffic or in compliance with law, the directions of a peace officer or traffic control device. So unless those are controlling this next activity, a person may not stop, stand, or park a vehicle, subsection 2, double I there, is on a sidewalk. So that would be state law governing parking on a sidewalk. So I guess as what I've found so far, there are at least in city code and then at least one in state code, 2 legal bases to find that there was a violation by parking the business trailer on a sidewalk and discharging gray water into the gutter.
So I guess I'm confused. So it takes longer to put all this together, come to a city council meeting, which the process is a process, than it would be just to park your trucks off the sidewalk, fix whatever leaks on your trailer, and just make sure you're not in any violations? Why wouldn't you just have that fixed and you would get?
As soon as he knew that there was some issue with water leaking from the trailer, he fixed it, right? And again, a lot is being made of this report, right? Yes, it's a report, but there's no conclusion, there's no result or saying, hey, this is what we found, even to say that there were pollutants. I mean, we're making big jumps here between what the facts are and what the city is trying to say, hey, we need to base our decision on facts. There's a big difference between somebody saying, hey, this happened, or hey, I don't like this, and saying, okay, now we've actually gone through and we've figured out that this is what happened. So to say, well, you violated because you dumped pollutants in the storm drain, that's a big deal. And I would agree that the city should be concerned about that. But there's no evidence of pollutants being dumped in the storm drain. We have a picture of some white stuff on the sidewalk, and we've got a neighbor saying, hey, we think they're dumping water from their gray tanks. But there's nothing saying, one, that there were pollutants, or two, that there was anything intentional. And what I can represent to you is that when Jake figured out that there was water that was leaking from his trailer, he fixed it. I mean, the gray water that comes from his trailer is water that they use to wash their hands.
Well, I get that, and it said in the code that any water, what was it?
It's
I guess that's a mute point to me, but
any materials, including but not limited to pollutants or water containing any pollutants that cause or contribute to a violation or applicable water quality standard.
right, so to get into that, we're getting way into the weeds.
I
but-
mean, again, it's a long sentence, but as you break it down with the construction of it, it's really the discharge of any materials other than stormwater. Because it says any materials including but not limited to, which means it's not an exhaustive list. It's just saying one of these would be, and
Right.
pollutants is that, water containing pollutants is that. But really, the overarching category is nothing other than stormwater shall be dumped into the storm drain system or water course.
And to speak to your concern, Councilmember Favero, I agree. But Jake just got told, first, his license was gone, and second, it's going to be gone. So this wasn't a, hey, let's work with you.
Right.
Anytime he knew about an issue, he took steps to correct it. But this was not a, hey, let's try and work together and make this work. This was a, sorry, your license is gonna go.
Well,
Because you parked your trailer one time, and it was partially blocking the sidewalk.
Right, and I guess I'm only one voice, right? But to me, that's where we're at. We need to see what you need to fix it, and reinstate the license, most likely. And then you need to stay in the code from here on out.
So I've got a question for you. I'm looking through your packet. You're renting kitchen space through the Technical College in Logan. So that's where all of the food's gonna be stored? It's not gonna be at your primary residence?
The food that needs to be stored there will be stored there. It can also be stored in the food truck.
Okay, so in the food trucks or at this kitchen that you're gonna be renting? Where are the food trucks gonna be stored? On your property or at a rented warehouse location?
They're stored at his property.
Okay, so it sounded like according to the complaint from the Weber County, which would be where the food would be stored, it's gonna be in Weber County.
Bridgerland's in Logan or somewhere, isn't it?
So Logan would be where you would need to have the health department, but if you're gonna be storing food in your trucks at your residence, that's gonna be Weber County, which is where you would need a Weber County Health Department to govern that food storage,
And I'm just gonna ask the basis for that statement.
because you're storing the food in Weber County, in a truck on his property in Weber County,
According to
him.
what rule?
You stated
He
that.
No,
just
no, I'm
stated
saying
that.
what rule is it that says,
He's storing food in Weber County, so it's gonna be under Weber County's jurisdiction. If he was storing it in Logan, in that, in that kitchen, then it would be under Logan. Under their health department. So is he going to be getting a Weber County Health Department certification for the food that you're storing in this county?
if the health department requires that, he's gonna comply. That's what he's done all
I'd like you to please talk to them and see if you need to comply, because that sounds like it would be the logical case. And I do believe that was one of the things that they were saying. No current permit at Weber Morgan Health Department or local commissary kitchen agreement. If you're putting food here, you need to have an agreement. That was one of the write-ups in this list of, in their timeline that they gave us. So if you're gonna continue having food in Weber County, it needs to be addressed by Weber County.
Well, and I guess we will agree to disagree on that point.
We may have to look further into the health department licensing and the transferability, or at least being able to recognize other health department permits for mobile food trucks.
So the state code provides that if you're licensed through one health department, that you don't have to get licensed in every single health department. And that is that 1156, 103 and 104 that we discussed earlier.
I am looking at that right now and you know, just trying to speed read as we're talking as well. 11-56-103 is a reciprocity licensing provision. And it talks about in subsection 3 there, a political subdivision shall recognize as valid within the political subdivision the business license of a mobile business obtained in another political subdivision within the state, if the business license is current and in good standing. I'm trying to find a similar provision that applies to health departments.
I believe that's section 104. I think it's the next section.
Okay.
What business license did we approve? Did we approve a residential or a commercial?
Commercial.
And are commercials allowed in a residential?
I see. So this is, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
Sorry, they are or they were, or?
It was zoned commercial. When? What year was that? It's never been zoned commercial?
No,
It's zoned residential?
residential. Mhm.
So I can speak a little bit to the letter that you first received. So, I was going through business licenses and I realized that this commercial should not be a commercial because it's not a brick and mortar. So my thought process was you could reapply for a home occupation license, which is what you should have originally received, not a commercial. But on your original application, you put food truck and not trucks. And the picture we had was parked on your property. So when I looked at it, I thought this shouldn't be a commercial, it should be a home occupation. So I thought we could fix it by making it a home occupation. But then looking into it, neither one of them actually apply. So then that's where this letter of intent to deny and revoke came up with more information. So I got that information from our city attorney and I came up with more information. When I reached out to the Weber Morgan Health Department, you do not have a commissary agreement. You do not have a license through Weber Morgan. You are mobile food business operators shall use a commissary located within local health jurisdiction approved by the local health officer. You do not have that. So that's where it came up with all these informations, the code violations. So we were trying to fix it how we could, but what you have doesn't really apply either way. So that's where the letter came out. So it was my error on sending that letter first before sending the intent to deny or revoke. But that's where we're at.
I see you have this, what looks like a commissary agreement, and that is dated May 27th, 2025. So are you saying that at least since then, the Brazilian Paradise has had that agreement in place?
And I believe that was since you. Oh, has it? Okay.
Okay. Okay, the copy we have is just dated May.
Right, that's the most recent one.
Okay.
And again, the state code provides that those health.
They're reciprocal?
Yes, so I'm looking at 11-56-104. It says a food truck business shall obtain for each food truck that the business operates an annual health department permit from the local health department that has jurisdiction over the area in which the majority of the food truck's operations occur. So if you have a business license, my apologies, the permit out of Bear River, and they've made that finding that that's where the majority of Brazilian Paradise business has occurred, we you would be in compliance of state code. And I guess that's where the question turns, is where most of Brazilian Paradise's business is happening. And if it is in, does Bear River cover Cache and basically all the northern counties? If it's there, then it would be reciprocal to Weber Morgan Health Department.
So he has a business license, or were you talking about a health license?
Health Department permit.
Okay.
Yeah, but a business license is also required. That was 103. Let's see.
So Stacy, which one doesn't he have according to your records?
So, Weber Morgan Health says he's not currently licensed, and he doesn't have a commissary in Weber Morgan area, so that's part of, I think it's towards the back, of the packet, you'll see the code that he sent that has to do with Health and Human Services, mobile food business sanitation. On the second page, that's where they had the commissary requirements.
Are they aware that they have one through Logan, Bear River?
So your trucks and trailers are here in Weber County. Your permit is with Bear River, and your kitchen is in Logan? Am I correct on that?
The kitchen and commissary, yeah, that's the.
Okay. Interesting. Just wanted to make sure I was on the right page here. So the food is in Logan?
Well,
Because you can't put it in your
some of the
house.
food is in the trucks outside of his house.
Okay. But there's no food in, going to the house?
No.
Yeah, one business license from one political subdivision is reciprocal across the whole state. It says a political subdivision may require a mobile business to obtain a business license if the mobile business does not hold a current business license in good standing from another political subdivision in the state. Just another way of saying, if they've got one business license from one political subdivision, it applies across the state. I don't see anything in here that requires that the health department permit and the business license have to come from the same political subdivision. Only that the health department permit is required for where most of the business is conducted.
But this is a commercial business in a residential zone.
True, that it doesn't, just because a business license is granted doesn't mean that the business is not subject to the local ordinances. It's still subject to the local ordinances of wherever the business is conducted as well. So that would include zoning ordinances where equipment is stored, how business is conducted, and following all other ordinances within Plain City. What may be within code in another city doesn't necessarily mean it's within code in this city. So each business that comes to this city, even with a business license from another, a mobile food truck, for instance, is still subject to our code.
And that's the code that's in violation, right, Stacy? Because they're asking for a renewal of a commercial business license that is not allowed in the zone for that residential. It should or shouldn't have. And it wouldn't meet the home occupation? So- Yeah.
Like he parks it there, he goes, he does commissionary or commissary elsewhere, he does everything elsewhere, it's a home occupation, you have your office, that would have been approved. But now we have employees, now we have parking.
Right.
Now we're storing off-site, now we have accessories, so we're kind of, we don't,
Would that have been approved if it's parking over the sidewalk?
on the sidewalk,
Yeah, isn't that blocking the sidewalk?
Well, I think, that's something they could back their truck up. That to me is just a technicality. Right, but he could unhook and back up another 2 feet. He could meet that. That to me is a technicality that, and it's whether he meets the zoning on the other things that are more important in my eyes. What I have a question for you, Brandon, is that something where the code, I don't know if I can say the code changed, or if we're just, would that be the way to say that? I can't remember how you said it, Stacy. If I say something, correct me, but there's no grandfather, right? When he comes in, we have to abide by the new code, or the,
Yeah, so, and I'm looking also, still kind of reading through the state code that applies to mobile truck businesses. It does say, obviously with specific provisions about business licensing and health department permitting, that, and this is gonna be 11-56-103 regarding licensing, subsection 4. It says, nothing in this section prevents a political subdivision from, this subsection B there, promulgating local ordinances and regulations consistent with this section that addressed how and where a food truck or enclosed mobile business truck may operate within the political subdivision. And so as legislative changes happen in the city, ordinances change, without the city council also adopting a specific grandfathering provision,
Right.
businesses have to comply to new code.
well, and that's my thought. Why are we talking about, not that it's not important, want that on the record, spiels and parking, because those are important too, but we don't even meet the requirements for either one of the licenses. That
we
right
offer.
there is a stop all for everything. The other things are a technicality after the business is approved, in my opinion.
Right.
And we have denied new licenses that have come in that have asked for parking for semis or
Well, and I believe there's been other instances where we've done this similar situation where businesses have had to buy property to park their
park vehicles.
somewhere else on a commercial, approved commercial zone.
the commissary, and it says also too that the mobile food business will go to the commissary on a regular frequency. So are you driving on the road every day?
I'm sorry, but I think we're done. I think we're done.
Before we pass it over to the city council, because I know you have to make a motion and then vote upon it. I recognize that at least in some regard, the city has expressed some interest in just remedying whatever issues may have arisen over the last year, which is certainly an option to be able to work with our businesses before revoking a license and come to a mutual understanding of how to change and come into compliance with code as it is now, before just revoking a license. That is an option that the city council can engage in. It's not necessarily just renew or revoke. There's room to be able to work with our community partners, our businesses, and come up with a way that we can have compliance with the code going forward, as well as keeping our businesses going. So that's just something for the council to consider as you come up with motions. But we have, I believe as well, we have at least enough of a record to give you everything you need to make a decision today.
Brandon, what are some of those options to be able to do that?
If we don't have a license that they fit into, what do we do?
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my
Give them a
question.
grace period to get into that.
Home office.
Yeah, I mean, every business is different, and so it's difficult to say there's one solution to provide to all businesses. However, what is allowed in that zone at this time is a home occupation, and there may be other permitted uses that the business can fall under, where business can be conducted on a residential property. That's what the home occupation business is meant for, and perhaps there's something else within the zoning ordinances that this might fit more neatly into, but it seems like the city has recognized the home occupation as the closest to it. And so working with our business owners to operate it in that way, or else find a place where the business can be operated in a suitable zone that's not a residential zone.
So my question to you would be, then would one of the options be that we approve them as a home-based business and then a grace period to get things in order to be able to operate that?
I think
Is that what
before-
you're pointing to?
Certainly, I think before that, though, it's the business owners, the business owner needs to apply for that specific
Sure.
type of use.
Right.
It seems at this point that there's a dispute between whether this even is a home occupation business. And so if that's the route that our business owner would like to take, it would need to come through as an application as that particular business. And I think that would also help clean up the record of the city for what type of business we really have here.
Right.
So if that were the way that we go, Stacy, do you have off the top of your head some of the things that would have to change if it was a home-based business? Just quickly off the top of your head? Yes. Oh, so no employees to do that, really?
That's what I'm saying, there's no license.
But in that case, we would have to require that there's no other employees. Is that the case, really?
Would we almost need to maybe create an ordinance where it's food truck specific businesses, where an ordinance specifically for those, and we create the requirements for those?
Occupation. Oh, we do.
And that may resolve
no-
future issues, but it doesn't resolve the issue before.
Not this one, but
Yes.
for future.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where it does.
Yeah.
Motion?
I'm trying to think of
I mean, one more question. I think, so, yeah, I mean, it's not in a commercial zone, so that's a no just right from that.
Mm-hmm.
And we've just talked about trying to figure out how we could fit it into a home occupation, and that sounds like it's
It's a no.
worse. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I think we really are trying to think here, and your business is growing, and that's the reason why these ordinances are the way they are, is because they get too big and they're not meant for a residential area, so.
Is there an option to extend his business license for a month until? Okay. Mm-hmm.
I would assume most of the business is done during the summer months, yeah. So, I mean, extending it might help, but it's not gonna get him into the next season, right?
Right.
Cause
Get all this done before it hits, so. Oh, my gosh.
I guess one more thing to consider, just based on the discretion of the city council, you don't have to feel like your hands are tied by the law telling you, there's nothing in the law that says if there's a violation, you shall revoke, you shall deny. This is one of those may provisions. It's a discretionary provision. So under 3-1-13, revocation or denial of license, when it has to do with failing to comply with conditions and requirements of city ordinance, it says any license issued pursuant to the provisions of this code or of any ordinance of the city may be revoked, and any application denied by the city council because of these failures again, and as far as process goes, the next section is about noticing to the licensee, allowing for a hearing in front of the city council, which we're doing now. But your decision is a discretionary one.
And that sets precedence.
Yeah,
Again, it's,
Commercial license.
yep.
Say that again?
The issue is the commercial license.
And it really doesn't fit home occupancy either.
That's why it needs a new ordinance for this very specific type of business in general.
Not necessarily, I think.
I think food trucks are specific. They're mobile. They don't fit in a home or a
Right, but
commercial.
once you get so big, you're commercial. You've outgrown what the purpose of that ordinance is, a home occupation. I mean, she just said a few of the things. You have employees, you have,
But it's a business on wheels. I think that's,
it's not necessarily that, though. You're gonna have 4 or 5 employees' cars parked there all the time, and
Right. There's conflicts with both business license that we actually offer. Do you have an event in the next 2 weeks? Would you be okay if we tabled this for 2 weeks until we can all do some research and maybe have a different business license available?
I don't think we're gonna get a new one in 2 weeks.
I just know a lot of food truck vendors, and I know that they live in cities all over. So if we could maybe contact other cities to see how they do their licenses for a business such as this. I'm not sure what to call it. It's not commercial, it's not home. I'm like, there's got to be something
yeah.
out there. Yeah.
I just
I'm
don't wanna
happy to
drag
do
them
whatever,
back.
I'm happy to follow the direction of the city council.
It's not a bad, worst part is if you don't have an event, it's buying you time.
Right.
And it's given us an option to try to work with you.
Try and get something that works for everybody.
Yeah. And it may be that we can't.
Yeah, it's gonna give us a clearer, I've kind of done a little bit of research, but I wasn't aware that we only had
had 2.
2. That's bad, so. I'll make a motion that we table this
Yeah.
2 weeks till our next city council meeting.
Is 2 weeks enough time?
2 weeks enough time,
Is 2
Brad?
weeks enough time?
We'll
Depending on what we're looking to accomplish in those 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that's what I
Not
wondered.
passing any new ordinances by then.
No.
We're not gonna get a new ordinance in 2 weeks.
And I don't know how we can offer either one of the licenses that we do offer at
We
this time.
cannot offer one of those two. It's
No.
not gonna fall into one of those. We could deny it and then work on it and then say, hey, we got this option now. Like, we're not gonna just stop working on it.
Oh, no.
Table for a month. Give us enough time, right?
Look at your calendar, Jake. When's your first event?
Brandon, does that help? Does that help you also? If we were able to do it a month, table it for a month, does that help?
Well, I'm willing to do research and provide that in terms of what other jurisdictions do.
Exactly.
Even the question of, I think there's still some question of what constitutes doing business under the definitions of these city ordinances as well.
Yeah.
And whether parking your trailer constitutes doing business,
Right.
which would then violate the residential zoning or violate the home occupied business ordinance, which I'm not sure that it does. But those are the things that I'll be looking into and providing a more detailed analysis of.
Yeah, I'm happy to provide you with my contact information as well. You can reach out to me anytime.
Okay, I will make a motion that we table this discussion.
What would be the date on that?
I'm looking, March 5th.
Well, it'd be the next meeting probably. Is that March 5th?
That's in a month.
First meeting in
Okay.
March.
First meeting in March.
So we have 4 weeks to get this until March 5th.
Second.
Hey, Rob,
Was that a motion?
we're gonna be looking at possibly making a new ordinance.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Get something figured out. Rob, you got that right? Okay.
Okay, next, we have our conditional final acceptance on which one?
Nope. Rezone.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
excuse me.
rezone first.
Yeah, okay. Rezone property, 3,000 North Plain City Road from RE 18.5 to RE 15. Parcel numbers listed there. Jason Green?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to talk about this?
So we went through planning and they were wanting to do conforming lots. There's no real code or way to do conforming lots. I mean, I guess we could run it through a variance, but the only reason we're trying to rezone this is to pull the lots away from the power lines. And there's no way to put more lots on it. We're not going that much smaller than what it's currently zoned at. So I just asked if we could stick with keeping the rezone to the RE 15.
My question, Jason, is, I see what the planning commission did. They said, under the general plan, it's zoned for 18.5. You're asking for 15. So their point was that they don't want to rezone because that's the way it is on the general plan. That's the way I see it. So my question to you is, what, beyond that, it's on general plan, currently the general plan is 18.5. What other reason are you asking for us to do, change it 15?
It's just to pull the lots to the west will actually be bigger.
Yeah.
We're just pulling those lots to the west. We're just moving the road to the east. That's
Yeah.
what we're doing.
So
how many-
really just flip-flop.
Yes,
Yeah,
100%. And it's not really gonna set precedents because, there's a reason for you change zoning because there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
Not like somebody can just get RE 15 somewhere else unless they have, the risk of the power lines, so.
So how many lots would be 15 as opposed to the 18.5?
5,
5 of them?
yeah, maybe 6, like, there's not very many. It's 18 total. It's not a very big subdivision. It's all pretty much bigger lots.
I'm not really familiar with the
And why don't we
variance.
want to go the variance route?
Yeah, I guess that's what my question was.
Yeah.
Why don't we want to go with the variance route instead of?
Because we're not even sure if that's the right way to do it.
I don't think it would be, and this is just kind of, we obviously can dive into it more, but as a cursory analysis, a variance is meant for a single lot
Yeah.
that has very unique characteristics, where this is a subdivision.
Yeah.
And there's no code for non-conforming that I could find, or that Tammy could find.
If you rezone, you have to rezone the entire subdivision, correct?
No, it's parcel.
You can just do a partial.
One parcel.
You can rezone sections of
Okay.
the subdivision. They just have to follow property lines.
Okay.
So the parcel to the east is the one that needs to be rezoned, yes? There's no way to meet the current zoning there?
It's 18. The current zoning?
Yeah, there's no way to meet
18.5.
the current zoning.
Say that
You
again.
want to rezone to 18.5, right?
No,
The
from
18.5 to
15.
15.
Oh, that's right, to 15. So what I'm saying is, yeah, it's 18.5 is the current zoning, correct?
It's not?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, sorry, the other one was 18, but those are gonna be,
RE20, that's what I'm looking at. That's why I'm kind of,
but the other one's actually gonna have larger lots than 18.
right. I remember that from the last discussion. So there's no way to meet RE20 because they're not deep enough, I'm assuming, among other things. Is that the case?
Say that one more time.
It's not.
Why
they're
can't
not-
you meet RE20 on the east parcel?
Because the road, the way the road's designed because of the power lines, All we're doing is moving the road like 10 feet to the east, maybe 20 feet to the east. That's it.
And that makes it to where you can't have the bigger lots on the east side. Is it because they're not deep enough? Right? I don't know. That's a Rob question, but I don't have all that stuff memorized. But what I'm saying is they can't be wider to meet the code?
They're still gonna be 100 feet wide, just like the 18. So that way, there's no way to put any more lots on there.
I mean, you can take one lot away.
Way and add so much to each one.
And
Make it
that's what I'm saying. Would that meet RE20 if you did that?
I guess that you would know.
No, the road goes north to south, so that whole road is being pushed up. So the road comes in off of North Plain City Road.
Right, I'm looking at it. I'm just asking if you took one lot out of there, I don't even know if one lot would meet RE20, but let's just say it would. Could you widen out the rest of those lots to make it meet the current
Current code.
code?
Possibly,
I guess I don't know why.
but I'd have to. But then I think you've also got that road, that stub road for future.
So
that
then
we
them
gotta
4
put in
lots
there.
wouldn't meet?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
I'd see if you, that's how I look at it, but maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, with more density, I mean, more density, more lots means smaller lot sizes. You take away some of those lots and the other lot sizes, in theory, it would create space for the remaining lots to be larger, and I think that's where you're getting at.
Right, that's my point. So if there's a way to do that and meet the RE20, I get your power line argument, but my counter argument is if you can meet the RE20 on the east side, why not just eliminate a fewer lots and meet the current zone? But I don't know the details if you'd meet all the setbacks and everything for that, because I don't have all those details memorized for each zone.
And you're making a really shallow, bigger lot, which most people want their garages in the back.
Right,
If
and
you're
that's what
gonna
I'm
do a bigger
saying,
lot,
but if
you're
it
gonna wanna-
meets the code, it meets the code.
They would just be different. Is that the right way to put it, I guess.
Does that make sense to everybody, what I'm
Yes,
saying?
exactly.
And I don't know if that's the answer, but that's the way I'm kind of looking at it at first glance.
Yeah. So the only reason we're actually doing it is so people can put their barns, their outbuildings behind it, because there's horse lots. So that's the reason we're doing this rezone in the first place. So then they could put a barn or a garage or something like that, because you've got to stay, 20 feet away from the power line.
Yeah, and that was my next question. Is that the only restriction? Because I know you gotta have so many feet from them transmission lines for a structure, permanent structure, I believe, is for an outbuilding, or is it because of other?
And it gets their houses away from the power lines also.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this is more of an entrance road than a subdivision that makes money. It doesn't,
But there's two,
even the way it sits, it really not money. It just access to the rest of the ground that's back behind it.
right? If I'm looking at this correctly, there are 2 lots that are gonna be, houses will be right under the power lines. Not literally, but a lot closer than the other ones that you're referring to.
And it'll make the subdivision prettier.
Any questions?
I think I'm with Adam. I think that you should take one lot out and extend them so that they would meet.
But I don't know if that does meet, but that's up to them to figure that out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Was there options presented to the planning commission?
Yeah, it was not the option to take a lot out, no.
Not what, sorry?
Not an option to take a lot out.
Oh, so it was always proposed as a rezone.
Rezone.
But there was a plan, like the original plan of the way it was. And that's what made us decide to try to, you know, change it a little bit, make it. Because if not, we'd just,
Include this, this is
the original plan was, it showed like 18.5s on it, but then we showed the power line. So like, if we don't get the rezone, we just stick with the same plan. But if we get the rezone, we'll just move the road and just make it a better subdivision. So,
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to, is whether this passes or not, you can still build the subdivision.
yeah, we can keep it the way it is, yeah.
Yeah, you are trying to make it so that the lots are deeper to be able to, for the future citizens to be able to
Correct.
put a barn or outbuilding in back, right?
Correct.
You're not adding by doing so, you're not adding a house to the subdivision. All you're doing is trying to make it so that the citizens that live there enjoy their house and can build a barn. That's how I understand it. Is that
That's it.
correct?
That is 100% it.
So clarifying what Councilman Jenkins just said, so you wouldn't be adding it to the subdivision, but you would be adding it to the east parcel compared to what it's zoned at now, right? Is it one or two? How many houses are we adding there?
No, we're not adding any
Yeah,
houses.
no houses being.
No houses. We are not adding any lots. All we're doing is making these lots steeper.
How many lots are gonna be bigger because of this?
Well, no, you got,
Can?
there's two parcels, yeah?
Yes, 3. There's 4.
Oh, that's gonna make it hard for me to explain this then. So the east parcel that you're asking to rezone, are you adding lots there based on RE 20?
No, I'm not adding any. What do you mean? So it's already designed the way it's at the RE 20, and that's the lots we're getting. We're not adding any more lots from what it's designed at right now. All I'm doing is trying to make it a nicer subdivision for the people that live there. That's it. So these lots will get bigger, these lots will get smaller.
Yeah.
I'm just moving a road like 20 feet. You can put it in, you know, if you pass it, you can put that in the stipulations that there's no more lots than what's on that original plan.
What's the average size of the lots that are stacked on the west side? You've got one,
Oh,
two,
they're-
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them, just kind of side by side.
Acres.
Yeah, what's their size?
They're like 300 feet long right now, so they'll be even longer.
Okay,
But that,
so
those
well, you're saying just well over 20,000?
yeah, those power lines come in so far. We're just trying to get the houses away from the power lines. And by moving that road, it helps us do it. And
But it makes the lots on the other side slightly.
yeah, and you're up by, and you guys are about to redo the general plan anyway, aren't you?
Yes.
Which it's up by the school, and usually you start getting smaller lots by schools anyway. So that may be an area. I mean, it's not an area that, like, people care about too much. It's kind of down in, back behind there.
Okay, let me ask this a different way. If the east parcel that's in blue that you're asking to rezone was subdivided by itself, how many lots could you have in there? Per current zone
I
regulation?
think there's,
RE
Right.
20.
I think there's 6 or, let's see, 1, 2.
Not how many you're proposing, how many you could have.
I think there's 8. I'd have to look at that
Well,
plan.
that's how many you're proposing.
Do you have the original plan that was sent?
I don't think we do. I don't think we,
On here, I didn't.
yeah.
We just have this up.
Oh,
Ron, you guys denied this. Was that because it was against the general plan?
That's how I understood it. They only said that it was because they didn't want to rezone because it's against the general plan. That's how I understood it.
Yes.
Yeah, this is what we have.
There was a lot of
8.
discussion.
There's 8.
But that's what you're proposing. Does anybody know what
I-
could actually be there if it was RE 20?
I don't know.
That is
but
20.
I think they're
That is the 20.
moving the road over
I
here
think, or
so
18.
that the houses can shift out from under the poles.
No, I get it.
Just get a bigger, I don't know how many they could actually fit.
So it's currently designed right here where the previous picture where it's all green. That's what it is designed for and approved. So all he's doing is saying, hey, let's just make these lots longer so that people can put barns behind them and just shift this road. So the green ones on this map are getting smaller and these ones are getting larger.
Not the opposite of that.
Or it's the opposite way, sorry, yeah.
But
That was zoned the way, per zone. That was gone to the architect per the zoning that was stated. That's not 15.
I don't understand why you need to rezone it if it meets RE20. What am I missing?
So,
Rob help? Do you think, maybe you know what?
Right answer, so, he doesn't have to move this road. If he doesn't move the road and keeps it at 18.5, which is,
No, RE 20.
the
well, it's R2
18.5
right
and
now,
the
but
20.
he can rezone it to 18.5. That's within the,
Yeah,
In the
within the
future
general
plan.
plan.
Okay,
so if he does that, he doesn't have to move the road and he can put in the same number of lots.
Gotcha.
So he's not asking for any additional lots. or
Okay.
higher density. He just wants to move that road so that he can move the houses farther away from the power lines, and so we wanted to work with him to be able to move that road. But we're not adding any additional lots, and so we're trying to figure out the best way to do that for the residents who will be living next to those power lines to get their houses farther away.
so Rob, are we going from RE 20 to 18.5? Is that what we're,
But this paper is saying 18.5 to 15.
exactly?
Right, so if we go to RE 20 to 18.5, that road's gonna keep the houses pretty
Okay,
Yeah, those are
Okay,
18.5s.
So we wanted to do 15 on one side of the road, just.
Okay.
8.
8 of them.
These are 18.5 on the east and the 20s are on the west. We were gonna flip it because the future zone map is 18.5.
great.
So those right now on that plan are 18.5. But then we want, like he's saying, we just wanna move that road a little bit further to the east.
I got it now, so just.
And we may lose a lot by
The
doing
lots
that.
are shrinking and that's it. So it's a matter of just if we're okay with smaller lots.
In order to move the road, yeah.
Right,
If
right.
it's not important to move the road, then we can leave it the same, on the same number of lots.
So Rob, my question is to you. You voted not to rezone or not to approve the rezone to come to us, right? You wanted to work through a variance. How do we go about that,
We can't.
if that's the case?
We're not really clear on the best way to go about this, because there are 8 lots. I don't know if the variance should apply to 8 lots, or if that's, if that would be worse than, applying a zone that doesn't fit the future land use, because one of the thoughts that came up was if we change the zone to 15, then the neighboring communities that eventually develop there might look at that 15 and say, there's precedent
Yeah.
here, there's 15, we want 15 as well. And so we said, well, and so the idea at council, or commission was, let's keep it at 18.5 and give them a variance in order to move those lots. And if that's the only, so that was the idea behind it. We're really not sure the best way to go about it, so it's really up to
Yeah.
you.
I don't think I can make the,
Variance work.
I don't think I can make the findings necessary to grant a variance.
Okay.
Although it's usually a good solution for these type of unique situations, where you've got power lines going through a subdivision, you're trying to come up with solutions on how to best serve the residents who are gonna live by them. But a variance is a mechanism for one unique lot in a community, not 8 lots next to each other that are identical. Because I have to make a finding that this particular lot has some detriment applicable to it that is not applicable to its neighbors. And so variances are just meant to be a one instance type scenario, versus, 8 lots in a subdivision. So I think the rezone is the best tool, if this is something that the council chooses to adopt. The rezone is going to be the mechanism in which you'll accomplish what you're proposing, better than variances.
So to that point then, I know we all worry about setting a precedence always, but in this case where we're not adding any homes, I don't know what kind of a precedence that sets. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's,
Anytime somebody comes to us and says, well, they did it, we can do it too, then we could say, well, they didn't add homes. Are you willing to not add a home as well?
I agree, but I still would say if you subdivided that by itself, you wouldn't have that many homes.
Exactly.
That's my, and I don't know which way I'm going on this, other than the facts, is what I'm stating. If you were to just subdivide that parcel, we'd have to do the math, somebody could do it. There'd be more home, or there'd be less homes there.
If they went
Right.
to 18.5?
Well, it'd be RE20, what it's currently zoned
What it
at.
currently is, but they can rezone to 18.5 because that's.
Okay, so it'd be more than the 18.5.
And those are
Without-
18.5s right now.
Those are
on that
currently
plan,
18.5s.
18.5s.
These are in the blue.
That's what he's
Yes.
saying, yeah, they're
If
currently.
you read it, it does say it, in the bigger ones, you can read it, those are exactly 18,510 square feet.
So it's currently zoned for RE
Right there.
20.
I'm like, I'm looking at that, I don't see it.
Rezoned to 18.5.
I don't know, because this paper is saying
Correct.
rezone from 18.5 to
15.
15. So
But
what
it's
are we
really-
actually looking at? It's already zoned for 20.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the problem. Yep,
The application is wrong because it's already zoned RE20.
Yes.
And the future land use map only allows us to go to
18.5.
They've applied as if it's 18.5 now, going to RE15, which is the problem.
So can we do this, or do we need two applications?
Go back to the planning commission, in my opinion,
And asked to be rezoned to 18.5,
from RE20
20 to 18.5.
Which is what the general plan is,
will be 18.5.
which complies to the general plan. Cool.
Exactly.
That was a lot of talk for something.
Yes, but I think
But then he's gonna
he
come back,
wants, he
because
wants to come back to go to 18.5 to 15.
Right, but
Yes.
these lots in blue meet that.
So,
Yes.
so 'cause I wrote 18.5 instead of the 20, 'cause I was told it was the future, and that's probably what I caught in my head.
Yeah,
No, I'm saying it's my fault, I'm definitely, but, so is that the case if I wrote it wrong on the app, that I have to go back through planning?
yes.
I mean,
Because he,
Have to advertise to the neighbors that we're going
from 20.
5, not an RE.
right, when it comes to public noticing, because it is a legislative action. As far as submitting a new application, whether that's required, I mean, again, I don't know what the code left and right. But as far as noticing it, we would have to notice it differently. I just want to make sure it's clear on our record, the blue lots with the road being pushed to the east, those are these ones.
This section right here.
That's the blue.
Yes. Did
that-
they meet
Those are not
18.5?
18.5, those are smaller, because of where the road is that correct?
These right here are 18.5 right now. That is 18.5.
The size of these lots?
Yes, with a 60-foot road.
So none of these in your proposal are 15?
that's why he.
No, not right now, but we're trying to
Gotcha.
get these houses
Oh, good Lord.
away from the power lines.
You're asking the same thing I am, and I need the answer to that question.
My computer just restarted on me, so we have this one in front of us. Is that the same as this? Matt?
Can you zoom in on that?
Yes.
Does that make sense, what we're asking? Does this proposal right now meet 18.5 the way it
That's
is?
18.5.
These are all 18.5?
Correct.
But this is not what you're
Then
proposing.
it meets the general plan.
15.
Oh,
What's that?
I don't know,
It's
I don't think
confusing
we
everybody.
received
What did you say?
I don't think we received the map for that,
It's 18.5.
what you're asking for then. Because this is what we're looking,
I'm just
I don't
asking.
know.
But he never asked for that yet.
okay.
And I'm just
He's
asking.
going straight from 20 to 15.
I just used.
No,
it
but I
as
don't know
a
if we
note
even
when
need
I'm doing
I
on
see.
the zone change, this doesn't really matter.
He's under the impression it's at 18.5, I don't think.
Okay.
So all I'm trying to do, see it says right there, 18.5, RE20 to 18.5. I just must have wrote it wrong.
Is that what you're asking for, though? Because it's my understanding you're trying to move the road from that.
From the power line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From that drawing.
Even if you look at the drawing that you guys have, it says RE20 to
but the one he's looking at,
Because that says RE20 to 18.5 instead of RE15.
Well, we,
okay.
But do they need to be 18, excuse me, do they need to be RE 15 to meet your map, your plan, your preliminary plan here, what you're proposing?
To move the road, they need to be 15.
Okay,
With
that's,
the road, they're gonna be smaller than 18.5.
yes, that's been my question this whole.
That's what it would look like now. Like if we come back into future use, or the future
So-
map, it'd look like that.
So in that zone, or excuse me, in that zone, but in that parcel, we are going to add lots. If you just did that parcel alone, which is what somebody said about setting a precedence.
No,
Whether we,
No, he's saying he wouldn't.
no.
yeah, he did, because he just said he wants to go 18, or you want to go 15 from 18.5.
Just pushing the
Move 'em
road,
from-
I'm not adding any more lots.
How about we do the first step,
go back to planning.
go back to the planning commission,
Got it.
get it from 20 to 18.5, and then we'll move from there.
So you want me to change it to 18.5 and then
Because
change?
you have to do that first step first. We can't do anything
'Cause
else
I just-
before you do
I wrote
that.
it on my application. I can
And then
still
they
change it.
met and they didn't rezone it to 18.5. Currently, it is
It is
RE
at 20.
No, and I know that, but I still can go, I can't go from RE20 to 18.5. I have to go to from RE20 to 18.5 and then to 15? Is that what you're saying?
No,
If they'll,
you don't have to do it that way, but the application we have and the noticing that has been provided for public hearings have been regarding RE20 to 18.5. The way that these meetings are noticed.
No,
public.
and I agree with that.
And so we would have to re-notice the rezone to 15.
Instead of 18.
Yep, and so those public hearings still need to happen from the planning commission.
The application we have
Got it.
says 18.5 to 15.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's
No,
never
no,
been
I
noticed.
agree with that.
Don't
No,
have
So
to
we
go-
can't do
I
anything.
understand that part.
Don't have to go and receive
I don't have to go 4 times.
step by
Right.
step. Yeah, you just have
Did
to
they
go
do the
back and
pub-
start over with a new
on 15 or 18.5.
request to go from RE20 to RE15, and then we can notice those properly.
That, yeah, that's fine.
So
Was
can
it
he amend
18.5?
the current application to RE20 to RE18.5?
That's not what he's asking for, though.
If we did that, that would be the first step.
Okay,
And then we can approve that one, and then we can have the further
but
discussion.
they're not
Now
18.5.
we really can't go from
That seemed like where Rachel was going.
No,
Let's
It's
ask
usually
him if you can.
increments. Yeah, no,
You're saying to at least get it to the general plan zone.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, just amend the application.
That's what I just
We,
said.
we just amend the
I
application.
think you have to go from 20
And
to
then,
18.5.
and then you, and then you'll just have to,
18.5 to 15.
But you can't,
Your-
because
your
it
public
doesn't fit
hearings.
the future
Because it
land use
doesn't-
map.
So can you amend the?
Yes, yes, for sure.
We'll just go 20 to 18.5, and then we'll take the next.
It's not gonna add any more houses.
That makes sense?
Yeah. Is that what you guys
But
recommend
since this
also?
application says
I
18.5
know.
to 15, and it's not, where is it? It,
No,
we
what?
can't do that right now, right?
Diane? Just remind, just from what you said earlier, the zone that is being applied for, it's the eastern side, is currently RE20?
20.
Okay, the application applying to those same properties says request from RE 18.5 to RE 15. Having read that, this is one of those, again, this is a form over substance issue. That I would just advise the city to not lean into the technicalities of it, because the request is to rezone to an RE 15. That request has been made. The only misrepresentation on this form is that the property owner has said that it is currently RE 18.5. What actually exists is an RE 20, but the request is still the same to rezone it to RE 15. And for that purpose, I still think it needs to be renoticed, but I don't see the reason for a new application. I think this is just a clerical error. Now, had you had something swapped where it said maybe RE 20 to some other zone, we'd have a more material issue, because then we're wondering what you want. But here, it's clear that you're asking for RE 15. And you have the correct parcel numbers and the correct addresses listed We can draw from that a plain conclusion that you're requesting for a rezone to that. So that's where I think legally we're standing as far as restarting the application process, is that we know that the property owner is asking for a rezone to an RE15, regardless of what exists there already. Now, if we haven't noticed that correctly, if on the agendas we've said if we've said RE 18.5 to RE 15, then we just haven't noticed correctly what actually exists there, and that needs to be redone on the city's part.
And our notices do say.
How do you go against the future land use map?
And that's where you'll be,
That's where you're gonna have
you'll
to
be
go.
right back
Back
here,
to here.
making the same request. So if the city council has a direction they're already thinking of heading, it may be a good time to just discuss it without making a formal motion, but at least he'll know where you're at.
And that's what I was trying to say. We're looking at two things.
I understand where he's coming from, but like we talked about earlier, if we do this for him and in the future someone next door is like, well, these are already 15, this is what we're gonna do, and then when they come and we deny it, why did you deny ours and not his?
Because of the power lines.
I know, I understand.
But legally, I don't think,
Argument.
I'll ask you on that, legally,
There is a basis already to deny it because it doesn't conform with the future land use.
Sure.
That being said, the future land use map is a guiding document and it's intended to be just that. You know, if there's certain circumstances within that zone that say, hey, maybe something more dense should happen here, you'll want to make the specific findings on why it's an exceptional circumstance here versus the future. And that's really just meant to resolve your precedence problem. What makes this unique over any other potential subdivision in the area where RE15 should be allowed where the future land use map says RE18? So,
And the power
But-
lines aren't going anywhere.
But the power lines were probably there when you bought the property.
what's that? No, and it doesn't make any difference to me. It's just future people to live there.
I realize that, but what I'm saying is,
He was aware when he bought
he
the
was
property.
aware that because power lines didn't just chop up there, they've been there for
Like
years.
the other property that had the stream.
Stream through it, yep. Thank you. I knew there was another one that we had talked about. It was the stream behind in the backyard. And they needed to, okay, I'm with you.
Okay, so we need to,
So would the recommendation to be to suggest going to the 18.5 as opposed to jumping straight to 15? I mean, but he put his application for 15.
yeah, so you could today deny the application based on a request to go to RE15. And then you would just be back with an amended zoning application. Oh, it's already RE, no, it's not 18.5. You'd have an amended zoning application.
Please don't start over.
Sorry.
There's a lot of numbers going on. Yes, so the council could deny this application to zone to RE15 today.
I don't know if anybody already asked this, but how much could you move the road if it was RE18?
It'd stay where it's at. I'd be
Wouldn't
coming,
change.
I'll come back in for an RE18 match to land use, and it would look like this, and they'd be okay, but it wouldn't be as nice for them.
Yeah. Well, I try never to cross what the planning commission has come up with, ever. I try not to. And, you know, I think we all generally see the future land use map as our constitution. So even though I really appreciate what you're trying to do, and I really like it, I think I'll make a motion to deny the recommendation for rezone application.
Second.
I'm sorry, say that?
Two.
To RE 15, yes, that's correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 On the conforming lots, is there a way I can go that direction, or?
That's a good question for,
Because that's what planning, they weren't against doing them 15.5, they were just worried about the precedence.
yeah, right.
So, is there another way to go about it? And is that something you guys would be interested in or not interested in?
I think at this point, you make your proposal.
Got it.
Bring it to the planning commission on what you think might work otherwise.
Sure.
And keep in mind, right now, those are zoned at 20. So you're gonna wanna put in the application to make them 18.5.
Got it.
So that blue zone is 18.5, or 20. It's 20 right now. So put in the application to zone it to 18.5.
Okay,
And then any application you want to make them non-conforming.
that works. Thank you.
We need,
Hey, thank you.
I need
for coming.
flashcards.
We're gonna be dreaming about 18.5.
18.5s and 15s and 20s. Gonna have to explain this one.
Okay, I believe we're at Pappy Estates now?
No,
No.
Hunter Run.
Hunter's Run.
You're really trying to get this over with.
All right,
Dan,
so, Dan, do you want to say anything on this one? No? Okay.
Dan's about it.
I believe it's just, what, one lot, two lots?
First off, we have a request for Hunter's Run subdivision to go into conditional final, long time overdue. So we actually had them, they were supposed to do a cul-de-sac on the end of that road.
Yeah.
They did not have the property because the other side of the property, different owner,
Yours
didn't
too.
want to sell it at that point. So it kind of stop the development right there at the end. And this is where we have lift station 15, and we actually had to go through a neighbor's yard, open the gate to service the lift station or whatever, at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's kind of awkward. But anyways, with this improvement, with running this road down and adding 3 lots, and then they was able to do a turnaround and then give us our own access to lift station 15, so off to the side. So I think it's a little bit cleaner. Like I said, it added 3 lots to it, and we were able to put it into conditional final at that point. So when future property is for sale, then at that point, then that's when they would look at doing the west side, so.
But does their warranty start now?
What's
Their
that?
warranty will start now? Technically, right? And that subdivision's 2008?
It was, I think it was like, yeah.
It says in
I
there
know
the
it is,
one-year
because I
warranty.
live there.
It was, it's
Says
been,
in there.
yeah, there's some,
I mean, I'm assuming we're gonna play
Escrow
nice
sitting
with
there.
that, where it's that old, because it's
yeah.
Well, in previous people's defense, there was a whole long list of
Yes.
things that they hadn't done.
Oh,
And so that's why it was taking so long, and we had to stick with them.
No, I'm fine. I see why we're doing that. I'm just saying that technically now they
And
get,
that was the final completion, is to do the cul-de-sac, and we were holding them to the fire on that for a couple of years, and then at that point, it's like, you know what, I see a benefit to the city if we can get our own access and actually put that lift station on city property, and so they deeded that over to the city, because before it was on Marriott's property. So,
right.
yeah. So,
I'm just gonna go walk it and see all the things they can fix in the 1-year warranty 20 years later.
Warranty does not apply to wear and tear.
It does now. Just kidding. Okay.
Do you have a motion on this?
Do you want to make that motion?
I'll move
Sure.
to,
go ahead.
I'll move to approve conditional final acceptance of the Hunter Run
Second.
subdivision.
Aye.
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 Stay there, Dan.
The same thing.
Okay,
Don't-
next one, we have Pappy Estate subdivision, the Autobahn up there on 3475. No. Yeah, I put my sign trailer up there.
Really?
And I've actually did the narrowing the stripes on the edges of the road, trying to give it that effect that it's a thinner road, and gave the residents a safe zone to park their cars out on the
On the
side
road,
of the
yeah.
street and whatnot. It looks really good, but
Yeah.
it hasn't controlled much of anything for,
So that gentleman said.
I concur with, Yeah, but it's a long stretch and, you know, and like I said, but it's, that's not the only road that happens on.
No.
So, but unfortunately. But anyways, back to the Pappy Estates, we're at final. We have cleared the warranty phase. Everything looks good. I think there's 2 lots left that need to be built on, but they are sold, but we're just waiting for the owners to build it. So, but yeah, I think it was good. I like being able to go from 2600 all the way to North Plain City Road. It's pretty nice, up top on the east end.
Yeah.
So,
How fast are you going when you do that? Just kidding, just kidding.
27.
I plead the fifth, no.
I'll make a motion to accept the final acceptance of Pappy Estates subdivision.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay, Planning Commission reappointment. So Shauna Faulkner has completed her 5-year term on the Planning Commission. She also served 3 years prior to that, so a total of 8 years.
Wow.
Included in your packet is an ad that we ran for the Planning Commission. We had 3 applicants apply. We had Shauna reapply, we had Matthew McBride, and we had Gary Westergaard. I mean, these were 3 outstanding candidates, all of them. I got a hold of Jed Jenkins, who's Mayor Pro Tem and over the Planning Commission, and we interviewed each one of these individuals. And Jed, I think you'd agree with me, they were all impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. All 3 candidates were very qualified and very incredible.
So, you know, I did my homework, and it, you know, our ordinances say that the mayor is to appoint and fill the vacancies. The mayor, with the advice and consent of city council, may appoint and fill vacancies in all offices provided by law ordinances. Goes on to say, appointment with advice and consent of the city council's person to fill city offices vacancies on commissions, committees of the city. So, I, after interviewing these individuals, would like to present the name of Matthew McBride to serve on the Planning Commission. I think you've looked at, if you had a chance to look at him, he's got a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from Utah State. He's got a Master's of Science in Structural Engineering from the University of Wyoming. He's a professional at ARW Engineers. He served on the Perry City Planning Commission from 2004 to 2007. He was vice chair for one of those years. He served on the Plain City Planning Commission from 2009 to 2012. And he left because he had some church assignments and other things that just occupied his time. So I think he's very well qualified to fill this position, as were the other 2, but I just lean towards this individual, and so I'd like to present his name to you.
Is-
What's that? He'd be an alternate. We'd move Josh into the next one.
Is there any chance that he might get another, I don't want to say this, like, another conflict of interest where he might have to step away?
He's at a point in his life where he's pretty sure that he would remain in this position.
Exactly.
And also, that's something that's hard to plan for also.
It's a difficult decision. I know Shauna did an incredible job, but I think he will bring something to the Planning Commission that will be palpable, and he would add some bench strength that would be really appreciated, I think, from the technical side.
Do we have any current Planning Commission members that are already employed by an engineering firm? Right, but he's not engineering.
I
Okay.
think so.
I just didn't know if there would be any type of a conflict with our engineering firm, but. Correct, yeah. Is it commercial? Yeah, I'm like going, I figured ARW did, but I wasn't sure.
If there's a requirement for disclosure on a case-by-case basis. If an issue comes before the planning commission with any member
Right.
that brings up a conflict of interest, a personal conflict of interest, that disclosure is required. So that's just kind of a standing obligation for all planning commission members, as well as public officials.
Right.
Speaking of that,
Luigi just said, here you go. I'm going home with those.
any further discussion on that?
I just kind of like having someone that's been working on our planning commission and knows the ins and outs and all of the things that's been going on lately. Kind of like leaning towards someone else, but
Well, and
That's a good point, but at the same time, Matt McBride has tons of experience. So like Mayor said, I was able to sit in on those interviews and ask questions myself, and I would honestly say that there was plenty of information going back and forth that I felt very content with any one of those three individuals, honestly. Pretty impressed, actually. And also, just like a year ago, when the previous mayor appointed Josh Abelman, I'd like to comment that the mayor gets to appoint, and we just get a vote in, and that's it. So for this, is it a motion required?
Really?
Okay. Well, I'll hold off in case anybody has any other comments.
I think the only other comment I'd make is that while any of them could have done a good job, I agree with just looking at the credentials, but the background definitely helps, but also on the planning commission, it's more expertise and reading the code and following the code. Opinions getting our way sometimes, and on the planning commission, you gotta be careful of that, and so do we, frankly, but. So if you can get through the code and understand it, which it sounds like Matthew has that experience if he's an engineer, so should help.
Yeah, he told me, he lives for the code. He says, I couldn't do anything like council, city council, I'm a planning commission ordinance guy.
He did
Right.
say that exact thing.
That's all I have. Yeah.
Unless there's no other comments, I will make a motion for the approval of the Planning Commission reappointment, or appointment, sorry, with Matthew McBride as an alternate, and move Josh Abelman to a regular member.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed?
I'm not happy, but
Thank you very much. Gosh, business licenses, right?
Yeah, can you read all those for us, please? Now I gotta like show the screen, there's a lot of them. It's easy. I'll make a motion to approve the business licenses as presented this February 5th, 2026.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do roll call,
Aye.
right?
not on.
No, on the,
Warrants.
Okay, sorry. Okay, we will pay the bills. Let's get to warrant, approval of warrant registry.
Dan, I'm assuming the dredge the ditch was the canal that you own? Yeah. Did we talk to the residents to make sure they're all okay with that, now that it's complete? I know there were a few that had some
Well,
concerns.
it's not complete because we're still waiting for the top to dry out so we can go out and kind of level.
It's really
stuff up.
black.
There's a couple fences
it
that
dries
were
out.
falling over before we
It's a lot different.
even
Right.
addressed.
I know there's a lot of concerns there, I just wanna make
Yes.
sure we're working with them.
Yes, yeah, I've communicated with all the residents over there, and like I said, that's Some of them want it piped, right up front, and I think when the road projects come through with 1975, we'll have to end up piping a section of that, just to get that wider right-of-way with the 88-foot, so. But anyways, like I said, ditch turned out really good. We pulled out a lot of tires, so if you need tires for your vehicle, we got them. So, yeah. No, because there's a lot of that stuff that we can do. So, yeah, we just didn't have the trackhoe to dredge the canal. So, but, like you said, did a great job. And, now over on the north end in that, detention pond right off 2850, it's starting to dry up. It's not holding water anymore. So I'm like, oh, yes. So, yeah, so that's good. But, yeah, so we're getting everything flowing. But,
Thanks.
The flock cameras, is that just the yearly service charge? Okay. They are for,
What they,
For what they provide.
What is it?
Yeah.
The flock.
Okay, well, then I move to approve the warrant or payment of the warrant register for the time period of January 14th, 2026 through January 31st, 2026.
second.
All in favor?
Roll
Yeah.
call.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Okay, thank you.
Move to adjourn? Yep, that's it. No, oh, I have a bunch too. I'm sorry, it's my husband's birthday.
I knew you were ready to go.
It's my husband's birthday, and he's like, are you still there? No, went to Wendover.
All right.
I was halfway out the door, Jan.
I know, I'm like, crap, I just looked at the clock.
I'm actually going to start to the left this time. Luigi, we'll start with you and council reports.
The only thing I have, so Weber County Sheriff's Office will be having a city partner meeting on February 24th.
February 24th?
Yep. I know we talked earlier and you wanted to know.
Yeah. Can we go together?
You sure?
In fact, everybody should have been invited. Did you get the letter?
Oh, no, I will check.
I've never been to one, so,
What's it called again?
city partner meeting.
City
City
partner.
partner meeting.
So all the cities and city councils are invited. And
And is it at the,
Sheriff's, yeah.
Yeah. 6 o'clock, I believe it was.
I'm not sure I got that one. They may send it to
They had to send two because they didn't put the time right here.
Yeah, we received it.
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
All right, well, thank you. Let's go to Jan.
Okay, been chatting with Colette, and she is finalizing and getting all of the awards out for the Utah Jazz Fun Shot. I guess it was really cool. My grandson was in it and won. Kindergarten, no, he's only in kindergarten. He made one shot. They've got another month and a half of boys' basketball. They're working on getting volleyball pulled together. They start in mid-March. They're in full swing with the event planning for the 4th of July. They're working on getting the park calendars out with the pavilion and the field reservations. Getting all ball signups for the year set up online. They're answering important and really interesting questions. And track signups are about to open. So she's very busy.
Yeah. Very busy.
Excellent, okay.
So this week I was able to attend a WACOG meeting for the first time. I kind of went into this meeting kind of ready to argue until I sat there and listened and found out what the WACOG actually is. It's a committee, it's the Weber Area Committee of Governments, or Council of Governments, thank you. So I had no idea what it was when I went into this meeting, but it was a great meeting. Maybe I should say good meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, it was, you know, I met a few of the mayors around Weber County. We talked about the state kind of pushing higher density onto smaller cities, and everybody in that meeting was kind of against that. And they were kind of, the whole idea of the WACOG is to come together with a plan so that we can take it to the state, and then the state says, oh, okay, you guys are already working on something, we don't have to force it. And so, you know, Plain City came up a few times because they were kind of contrasting the city of Ogden versus Plain City, and, you know, which one needs high-density homes and which one doesn't. And so it was a good conversation with a lot of the mayors that are more interested in high density than what we are in Plain City. So it was a great conversation, and I look forward to continuing going to that meeting. We didn't get very much business done because the legislature is in session right now, so we were getting updates from Cameron Deal, who is down there, and so not much of the business on the agenda got done because of that. It was a good update, though, of the legislature and what they're working on. Mosquito abatement meeting is always canceled in February, so we'll be back in March, so I did not attend that, and I think that's it. Rob does such a good job on updating from the Planning Commission that I don't have to, so thank you, Rob. Keep it up, man. So, yeah, that's all I have.
Okay.
With the weather the way it's been, we're gonna really need a lot of mosquito abatement.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
All right, so I went to a CERT council meeting at the beginning of the month. Every city's supposed to go. There were 4 of us there. So if there is an emergency and we have to coordinate, it's gonna be bad. There will be 4 of us that knows what we're doing. We will survive. We also have an antenna on our building that I didn't know about. And so all of the stakes within the city use ham radios to communicate, and our antenna is the one that they use to coordinate. And I said, okay, well, what happens if we're ground zero? And they do have backups, which is good. They'd also come and check the ham radios in this building once a month, and if you want to see how they, quarter. And if we want to see how that all works and how they interact with each other, you guys can come in and observe. Also, they did do a disaster activity in one of the wards where they did a pretend disaster to see how things would play out. It did not go well. They had people bringing pretend victims to a site saying this is where you needed to bring them. There was no medical personnel set up there. They just dropped them and left. So if it was an actual disaster, they would not have made it. So if we wanted to plan some sort of disaster event to see how our city would handle it, we can do that, and they would oversee it and see how prepared we are. And I'd recommend doing that just to see where we can prepare. There's also going to be a CERT class coming up in the spring. I've asked Councilmember Jenkins to see how many of our firefighters are certified and get them going to that class. There's a free online version for everyone, and then there's a $40 hands-on. You get a go bag with a safety helmet and gear and all of that stuff. There's also 2 courses that elected officials can take that are online, and if we take them, we can qualify for FEMA monies in the case of a disaster. So I'll...
When is that?
Which one?
The CERT training that we can get.
Oh, so there's online. I'm going to send you the flyer. All of those are free for everybody, and I'm going to post it online, our website as well as our Facebook. And then there's the hands-on, there's spring and fall. I've got the flyer that has that class. And then I also did the America 250. They had that meeting on Monday. In addition to us doing a time capsule, they're going to do a national time capsule. So every state, no. So every state is going to put something in, and then our city, we're gonna have yearbooks, and then I'm going to be reaching out, trying to get each school to put something in. And then there's also a field trip art contest. Anyone that's between 3rd and 5th grade, they're gonna have an art contest. I'm gonna get all of the information posted out. But if you win the art contest, your grade can go to Washington DC for a national field trip. And then there's also the 3D coin contest, and they're also going to be creating service and distance trackers, and then we get to show that Plain City is the best at doing service. You can do it in groups, or you can just do it as a Plain City, and we show that we're the best. And you can get awards from the Governor Cox certificates. They're also recognizing all military members if you want to submit military members for recognition. And then I said military service, distance. We're going to get a list of all of our trails and safe places to walk, and they want you to walk 250 miles throughout the whole year. And you can do that as a group or individual, and we'll track that, and you can get awards for that as well.
Thank you. All right.
So the disaster was a disaster.
The disaster was a disaster.
All right. A couple of things. I already asked the question about the drainage. Dan's been working on a few of those to get them clean, to make sure we don't have any flooding with all this snow we have this year. So thanks for that. No, it was pretty bad. It needed to be cleaned. It'll be on a rotation to make sure they're cleaned. We talked a little bit about that and scheduling on other areas. And then also, I don't remember the subdivision, Dan, I always forget. I met him down there and looked at, what's the subdivision? River Crossing subdivision, where we need to put in that trail in the park, to kind of get a game plan as to what we want to see there and how we want to do that. Dan's working on that, putting a plan together, and we'll hopefully get that taken care of. And I think that was the final on that subdivision, right? The last item? Yeah. So we have that, and then the dump's just working on getting they got some bids to get a excavator in there to expand the dump for, I believe he said, at least 3 more years, by doing a little excavating and moving some things around. And I missed the meeting Wednesday, so I'm sure there's a little bit there to be caught up on. Sorry. But other than that, I think that's everything.
I'm sorry. I want to have just a brief discussion, and we don't have to go into detail, but I think it's time that we consider a planner in this city. The planning commissions let me know, I mean, I interviewed all of them, and they all thought that it's time. I've heard a lot from you that it's time that we take a look at this. I was thinking about maybe posting, and I talked to Diane about this, a part-time planner, to see if we can possibly get somebody that's retired, that has a lot of experience, or just what we get, I'm not sure. But did get a hold of our treasurer, asked him to look at some scenarios on if we have the money to do it, and he said we do.
Oh, perfect.
But if we did it this year, we would have to amend the budget, which is not a big deal. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's when okay.
But Diane's done a lot of work on this. She contacted Weber County and other people and has job descriptions, and she's got something ready to go.
I think it would alleviate a lot of the conversation we had tonight.
I think it would save.
And a lot other nights, yes.
Yeah. Good suggestion.
Having worked for Weber County and their planning department, having a planner, even part-time, can help us, I guess, smooth out a lot of the details that our commission and the city council try to do as a group, where a planner who's more specialized in these types of proposed, developments, subdivisions, rezones, can kind of neatly package the proposal with the developer and bring something that's a little more simplified to our boards. So I think just having had that personal experience working alongside planners for Weber County, it would be a huge benefit.
I think it would help the staff.
Yeah.
I think they're overloaded.
So, I mean, I guess I just want your blessing to proceed, get it posted, take a look at candidates. We may not find anybody. We may have to go to a full-time.
Right.
And I think we did a scenario with our treasurer on that, and I think we could probably pull that off as well. So, that's kind of where we're at on time, okay? We are,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, see what you can.
Is there options to share a planner with smaller cities too? There's always that option, but I guess like, hopefully, maybe they'd be the ones applying,
We'll see what type of candidates we get.
right?
Okay, quick update, 3,600, we're getting close.
The last person signed today.
We actually have one more. but
Just so
it's-
you know.
It's going.
Well,
Thank you,
that's
Jan.
1975,
Yeah, that's
isn't it?
true.
That's
We can
1975.
afford- But I think we put together an occupancy agreement on that one. I think we're heading the right direction on that. So we're hoping we can get going on this in 2026, okay?
Hey, you got
Start
10 months.
laughing.
Got 10 months.
2,200, so we did work out a deal with the county, you know, it's our road and the county's road. We're going in there with 8 inches of road base, and we're gonna put a road in there. And they've already put drain boxes in.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of upset people. You probably saw the email going about. By the way, I did not hang up on anybody, I promise. But anyway, you know, there's 8 people affected there, but I think long-term effect on this city, it's the right thing to do, and we need to move towards getting that nice asphalt road there with eventually sidewalks and curb and gutter and everything else. But the plan would be to put the road base down, take down the barrier, use the road this summer, probably when the other subdivision does their project, we would start the asphalt project, right?
Yes, yeah, once Silver Valley asphalt, at that time, we'll be the asphalting.
Did you guys have to do the road base, Plain City? Did you guys have to do the road base, or did the county do it?
The county's on the road base.
Why aren't they asphalting it?
They are,
Oh, but they're not gonna do it until,
well,
They're gonna give us some money.
the money,
okay, because I'm like, no, they're gonna do it.
well, they're paying for it, yeah.
Okay, good.
All right. And a couple of things. North Plain City Road, you know about, there are acquisitions going on right now, right? Things moving forward on that? Okay. General plan funding, it did get approved, so we are looking at starting the general plan. 2 weeks, okay. And then the transfer station, county needs another month on that, but they will have some sort of an interlocal agreement on transfer station for us to look at in a month. That's the latest.
But we still got the private,
Robinson.
yeah. Didn't they
Yeah,
give
but
us a,
they're still using Weber
Yeah.
County, yeah, to dump, so. That's all I've got.
motion to adjourn?
Second.
I forgot, what is he pointing at me
We're
for?
adjourned.
God, I keep forgetting that it's his birthday.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Don't forget to do
I
the
still wanna say nay on that one of these.
annual ethics.
You can stay.
Now?
What's the deadline that I have to have it to you by? Because you know I'm gonna push it.
It says on the yellow paper
I think
due
she's
tonight.
thinking tonight before you.
Oh.
I don't look at it.
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
Except. Oh, I'm on it.
oh.
When's the privacy trading that I do?
2 weeks ago is usually when you
Okay.
give it to you.
What does mine say?
Do you have a pen?
I got like 10.
Thank you.
I'm not doing it right now.
I'm not really prepared, but I have a lot of pens.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Cars off the sidewalk are nothing compared to not meeting.
What if I really don't?
On the sidewalk is nothing compared to not meeting.
And we have specifically in our ordinances that if you have a home office, self-contained. Yeah.
Because the attorney was trying to eat that up. I'm like, dude.
Like,
I'm just one opinion, but, I mean, I have a hard time going against the general plan, you know what I mean? Unless we.
Got a more generalized, but if there is something that maybe
What they're trying to present, and it probably would make a nice receptacle.
allows,
Go either way, but my preference probably to keep it in the general plan.
I don't know. I would argue that.
Yeah, I agree with that, actually.
yeah, well, I mean,
So what was your point? What did you say?
There's three of us here, so I gotta be careful.
I'm not listening. I'm filling out
The
paperwork.
longer the lock, the back.
Well, and yeah, that's true, but
Diane,
I'm,
previous employer, like how far
I
do you want
agree
to
with
go
you,
back?
but I'm to the point where, I mean,
I
I don't
haven't
know if
worked for 7 years for the county.
it's in their backyard, they do what they want, but I know what your point.
I won't be here
Like,
next meeting.
Yeah.
Be
No,
times
and
a
that's,
year.
yeah,
Have fun, is it vacation?
And I don't get paid,
Or
so
correct.
I just,
My daughter has cheer competition.
yeah, it's kind of like,
Okay.
well, Ryan, yeah.
Yeah,
this- Yeah.
let's talk when that meeting gets closer, so I just.
Yeah.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I put.
Luigi.
Because I made $2,000.
That's what I was
Pretty
asking.
sure I ain't gonna make that in 3 days.
The sheriff's?
Nope.
Blend it in a blender doesn't mean you can do it. I don't know.
What's this?
Now, whether I care for you or not.
I didn't know I had to sign minutes.
See, you need that pen.
I was gonna say, that's the first time.
Yeah. I gotta start using this.
Thank you. You want my old one? You gotta have that. Okay. Do you want the novel from?
Yep. Do you want to keep the old one?
Husband's birthday today?
Okay, and here's a paperclip.
Hey, we had a quorum without you.
that's, right, so if all we had was just that, oh, we shouldn't have done it. On that alone, because we have more versus something.
No, you're fine.
Part of running your business is storing your equipment somewhere, and you're storing it in our city.
Took so long. You come and sit and you'll see what takes so long.
This isn't the longest meeting we've ever had.